Joy has a problem keeping food in her mouth. Joy has a problem keeping food in her mouth. Joy has a problem keeping food in her mouth. It reminds her of being force-fed as a child. So she throws it up and lays her skin on the porcelain that feels like sky on her forehead. Pads down her throat to make sure it's not cut yet. Rolls an eyeliner pen like a tattered doll. Cradles it close when she clears up her eyes. And in the mirror ceiling tile of the New York City restaurant bathroom, she sees open fields in small town Iowa, leading to ruins in a swimming hole whose path has done been grown over since she had cleared it. In the summer as a child, and that young boy caressed her ankles with a broad grin and Midwest man accent, deepening his voice when his 11-year-old twang tries to replicate his uncles when they talk to their wives, and he tries to speak sexy real slow, and she giggled. And she giggles, and fireflies came out of her throat and surrounded the two lost souls naked in the heat, wind whipping the wheat to a dirge. She's convinced that this is when her smile turned permanently bittersweet. Lips trained never to be able to fully interact with happiness, because there's always a negative space, always an ending. Every man she's ever known who had cancer has died from it, and every female relative she has known has had their breasts sliced off because they refuse to listen to doctors' orders. And she knows that God knows best, but she also knows that on the seventh day God received rest. And maybe today is that seventh. Maybe every day could be that seventh. So she counts every morning, unsure of where to start or stop the ticker in her chest, waiting for that next heartbeat to not come. She lives for that moment, in between consciousness, when her stomach's not up yet and her skin envelops the world indiscriminate like a black hole. She takes every throb of life in, sucks the sunbeams tracing her face like a sniper dot, sucks them into her knotted chakras and holds her death wish like a baby bird she caught on the way down from the nest in Oklahoma, when the alcohol cravings of her father drove her to the buck and pole fence marking the edge of her family's pasture. Over the years, her tongue has gotten pretty good at releasing things like ghosts and other people's pasts. Sometimes when you've been through what she has, you know what it means to live with the Cain in you. Always searching for an Abel that died at birth, but you won't believe it cause you can't believe it, cause how could the one thing that can complete you or fill you, how could that one thing already have passed on to a world you are scared shitless to enter? Psychologists tell her that the gut twists she experiences at mealtimes are mental or psychosomatic, and please, for the love of God, just eat, but she doesn't listen to the doctor's orders. Ribs are getting visible through the hospital gown. She hopes maybe one of them can be the next Adam. Please, for the love of God, please, just for the love of God, eat. But she does love God more than she could ever show with speech, so she fasts for days until the pain goes away and her eyes stop clouding, and she sees each of the 23 of her years in isolation, and the body that's been beaten so bad at times her womanhood stopped bleeding. That body is no longer a prison but a conduit for expression. And she uses her engagement ring to carve into her lower stomach symbols she forgets the legend of when she opens her eyes, so she sees them closed, keeps them closed for as long as possible, and hopes to hell her fiancé doesn't come before she's finished. When I cradled her last night to sleep, I told her there had to be a happy ending. But you and I both know there is no happy ending. There's just a girl who lives through her stories of destiny, and she knows it's fate she has ended up with me, a boy from a wheat field in the back of her memory, dancing in the wind around her ankles in the bathroom, blowing fireflies out of her throat when her chest swoons a skipped heartbeat. And though you and I both know it's too late for her to have anyone at the hospital to believe in, I close my mouth and eyes and listen to her count to 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. And maybe this'll be the one. The hammer clicks, and her smoke signal finally reaches heaven.